Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. Upsets galore in the World Cup. We got $5 plays. We got dingers. It is Tuesday, Dan.
Sorry to you Germany backers. Sorry to you Germany fans. Dear God, what an ending in that one. The Morocco one, maybe not as shocking. I think Morocco was a pretty sexy dog. We'll recap all of that. Don't you worry, folks. And remember, there was someone on this show who said Germany will lose to a South American nation. Who could that have been? What do we have on the show here today, though, Andy? You alluded to it. It's Dinger Tuesday, baby. We got Jesse Schule on here to talk World Cup. Ross Benjamin here to talk some MLB. Andy, it is 40 seconds into the show. We cashed it yesterday for the folks. They were saying, Andy's on this play and Dan's on this play and Crackman's on this play. No way it's going to hit. Over the strikeouts. That's how we do it, Andy. What are we doing for the Wager Talk Today play of the day that now sits at 33 and 23?
We're going to take this Miami Marlins team, and I'm not going to take it on the money line. I want this plus money on the run line here. There's an insane stat in this game. So we'll start with Yuri Perez, who's pitching for the Marlins. He's going up against Tanner Gordon, pitching for the Rockies. I'll start with Yuri Perez. Yuri Perez he doesn't have great numbers, but the last 3 starts have been promising. 15 innings, 8 hits, 2 earned runs. They just hung 10 runs on this Rockies team yesterday. But this is about Tanner Gordon. He normally doesn't go deep into games. He's listed as a relief pitcher. There's only 1 game I think he's gone past 4. So this is somewhat of a bullpen type game. But the Rockies' 3rd worst ERA bullpen at 5.09. And to make it tougher, they used 3 bullpen arms yesterday. Team gave up 10 runs. But here's the thing. This is one of those where the team just does not give this pitcher any run support whatsoever. Every game that Tanner Gordon has started this season, Colorado has lost outright and by the money line by a combined score of 81-21. A 60-run differential when this poor guy gets up there and pitches. So he just walks out there with his head down, like, I guess I'm going to get shelled again today while my bats don't give me any success. So the team total, Dan, is 6.5 for Miami. You don't see 5.5, let alone 6.5. But I get it. I think the best way to fade this Rockies team and to fade poor Tanner Gordon is to take the Marlins on the run line. That's today's play of the day.
Yeah, all of the MLB teams are in play here the final day of June, Andy, and this is one of, I believe, 3 games that's hanging an 11 or more. So today's a good Dinger Tuesday. That's all we'll say. We're taking the Marlins on the run line. That's the way we're doing it. Let us know what your best bet is. Andy, before we bring in Jesse here, before we get rolling, vibes have been high, man. You and I were limping a little bit. We cashed some tickets yesterday, so we're feeling good. And I think we keep those vibes rolling because today, Andy, is fun.
Are you not entertained?
They love it when I turn off the bass.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, this business can be crazy. We talked about what a bad 7 days we had, and then we sweep the board yesterday for clients. So it's just, you're up, you're down, and you just weather the storm. So very, very happy with that. It's a new week. So we got a $5 play that starts in an hour. It's in the Norway game. So those of you watching live, you want to go grab that play, get that one. I've got a $5 auto racing bet for this weekend. So you want to lock in one of those. That's a 4%er. And then we've got a $5 tennis bet in doubles. Doubles start on Thursday. We have multiple plays that will be up, but for now we got a $5 play. So soccer starts here in a little bit, and then we've got auto racing and we've got tennis doubles. That's what we have up there. So we'll go over Wimbledon at the end. We had a massive upset. Ben Sheldon is out, and I will give you my thoughts on one. Serena Williams makes her triumphant return. What do we do with that match? But just real quick before we bring in Jesse, this has got to be one of the best World Cup for the books. Parlays are getting blasted. Futures are getting blasted. Like, the books just got to be sitting back, loving life here. Are we going to keep – I guess the question is, do we keep seeing some of these wonky results? The public bets are just getting killed. Does it change our handicapping? What's your take? Because we got to get Jesse's take on it. He's seeing the board real well in World Cup.
Oh, yeah, Jesse is cashing tickets left and right. He's rocking with a 5%er as well. But as far as what we have seen here in the knockout stage, Andy, Jesse kind of alluded to it, and I think he'll bring it back right before we were coming on here, is after 90 minutes before heading to stoppage time, all of these games have been tied. That's what you want in the knockout stage. Whether you get there because there's some wonky goals disallowed, sure, we don't have to talk about that as much, however. But you saw it yesterday. I mean, Brazil gets by the skin of their teeth. That kept my Brazil future alive. So I'm going to be looking to hedge out of that here eventually. But the big one, Andy, was that Germany. I mean, they were anywhere. I think the cheapest price on them to advance, Andy, was minus 700. And they lose in penalties to Paraguay when they had every chance, Andy. I don't know if you saw the end of that game. I'm sure you were watching the penalties.
Yeah, of course.
Did you see when it was time for the sixth guy to come up and kick? Everyone's going to absolutely blast the guy because he misses the cage. If it would have been a field goal, the field goal would have been good. But did you see that the captain was going down the line saying, hey, you're going to take the shot. Hey, you're going to take the shot. Nobody wanted it except for a guy who has never taken a professional, penalty shot here in world action. So absolutely insane. They shrunk at the biggest moment that they possibly could have. I thought Germany was going to get eliminated by a South American team, but the fashion in which it happened, Andy, heartbreaking for that Germany side, whose best days are in front of them. They're very young. Don't get me wrong, but I think that youth, that inexperience, it played itself out there in that shootout where they just were eyes wide.
You gotta feel for the Netherlands. I'm just reading some of the stats. They hold the distinct record of being the only nation to reach 3 World Cup finals without ever winning the tournament. This marked their earliest World Cup elimination, extending their frustrating penalty shootout as the team has not lost a World Cup match in regular time since 2010. They just can't quite get over the hump when it comes to stoppage time. But let's bring in Jesse. We got to get his thoughts because I want to hear you two.
Jesse, what's up, Jesse?
I think every team needs a couple penalty taking specialists, guys that are bench warmers that do nothing all season long. And you just bring, you think about it in hockey, we have guys like this that are just incredible at taking penalty shots. I'd like to see that. Maybe get my kids into it or something.
Jesse, you know what I'll say is that while everyone's saying, Netherlands, the big loser in that game, I might argue that one of the biggest losers is Canada, because Canada now has to face this Moroccan team. And I think, them getting the goal in the 91st minute, I think people maybe think, they got lucky. They controlled the ball for over 70% of the game. Like Morocco was in that driver's seat. You could argue that the goal for the Netherlands was more lucky than that 90th plus stoppage time goal. So that Morocco and Canada matchup, that one's all set. And early thoughts for me, Jesse, I might be looking to bet the Moroccan side. I think they're going to end up being the favorite in that one. I haven't checked the line though.
Yeah, Canada's a little bit too aggressive in their offensive play. The defense seems to be a bit lacking, and I think Morocco probably would punish them. But I did mention that all 4 knockout round matches were tied after 90 minutes. What I failed to mention is 3 of those 4 matches actually saw goals coming after the 90-minute mark. You had Morocco, Brazil, and Canada scoring after 90 minutes.
Yeah, as someone who had Japan on the double chance on the 90-minute line, that one was a tough one to swallow. But Brazil moving on, like I said, my future's alive. Well, Jesse, we can recap all day long because knockout stage has been delivering. But we got 3 matches today. We got 3 matches tomorrow. So let's start talking about some of these that are going up today. You have a 5%er rocking in that Norway and Ivory Coast. So we'll start here. France and Sweden. Talk about huge prices, Jesse. $9.50 if you want to back Ale Le Bleu to be moving on here against Sweden. How do you find a way to bet this game? France halftime, full time? Do you think, as prohibitive of a favorite that France is here, it's justified? Do you think maybe they concede a little bit? How are you looking to bet this one?
Well, I'm going to quote the great Ross Benjamin because he likes to tell me, Jesse, do you think the bookmakers are trying to tell you something here? And I think the bookmakers are telling us a little something here, because if you look at the spread for this game, you got France minus a goal and a half on the spread. And if you look at the total for this game, the total sits at 3.5. there's a big gap between -1.5 and 3.5. And what does that tell you, Dan? It tells you that they expect Sweden to get at least one goal. I'm not going to touch the side. I'm not going to get overly invested in a France as a favorite bet, even though I think it's probably the right play. I definitely don't expect this game to be a draw in the 90th minute. France is certainly a well-deserved favorite to win this tournament, but dare I say that France isn't just confident, they're almost arrogant. They know that they're good enough to score multiple goals on anybody, and they're not trying to post clean sheets. In fact, they've only posted one clean sheet in their last 8 matches. And if you go back to that game against Norway's B team, remember the final game of the group stages, the Norway team rested all their starters, and France wins big in that game by a score of 4-1. But even with their B team, Norway was able to get on the board, and they actually missed a penalty in that game as well. Sweden is more than capable of scoring goals. You've got Gyökeres and Isaac, 2 of the top strikers in Europe. I expect Sweden to at least get on the board, which will cash the both teams to score prop, which is priced at -125. And how do I know that? Well, I got plays in all 4 games, and this might be on my premium card as well.
Oh, wow. Plays in all of them, Jesse. We're going to have to find a way that people can get in on that. We'll let you know here in just a few, WT.buzz/JS, but don't go there quite yet. I like that one quite a bit, Jesse. Even if you just look at this Sweden team, you know that France, I guess knock on wood here, is going to get on the board, but also both teams to score, I believe, is played in at least 7 straight matches here for Sweden as well. So on both sides of the ledger, you got teams who can score. France, they can get a little bit lackadaisical with a lead. Both teams to score makes a heck of a lot of sense to me. And
9 straight
Sweden
matches.
9 straight. All right, yeah, thank you. That's one you take to the bank and keep on moving. Both teams to score. I give that my stamp of approval. Now, Jesse, I think this is maybe one that you and I differ a little bit on. Maybe it's because I spent time living in Ecuador, but I think there's a chance here that plus 146 to advance can be live in this one. Mexico, unblemished. I believe they haven't even conceded a goal in this tournament quite yet, playing on their home soil. So Mexico is a wagon. They came into this tournament like a wagon. I just think this defense of Ecuador might just be enough to make this thing interesting and keep them alive late. How do you see this game shaking out, Jesse?
You know, Dan, I don't disagree with you. I think Ecuador is good enough to keep this game interesting and be alive late. And then I think Mexico is going to break their hearts. I've heard a lot of people talking up Ecuador. And if you look at the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying standings, this Ecuador squad finished 2nd behind Argentina. I think a lot of people are looking at that. But if you look a little bit closer at those standings, you'll see that Ecuador only scored 14 goals in 18 matches. And in those 18 matches, 8 of them were draws. Clearly, Ecuador is going to come in here and try and slow this game down, force extra time, and try and win it on penalties. They'd take a 1-0 win as well. But Ecuador, not the greatest offense we see out of this Ecuador squad. And if you're using the win over Germany as evidence that Ecuador is a good team, I got to point out that, first of all, Germany's on the plane back home already. Germany had already clinched first in the group at that point. Yep. So I read absolutely nothing into Ecuador's win over Germany. And when it comes down to it, even if you can convince me that Ecuador is the better squad, this game is being played at Estadio Azteca. Mexico simply does not lose at Estadio Azteca. Their record in their last 17 matches dating back to 2019, 12-4-1. 1 loss in their last 17 matches. This stadium is 7,700 feet above sea level. Now, people will say that Ecuador plays in Quito, which is also a high elevation, but they've been in the U.S. now for, a month? Their last game was close to sea level. They say it takes 2 to 4 weeks to fully acclimate to that kind of elevation. They've had, 2 to 4 days. So, I do think the home field advantage will be huge for Mexico, not just the elevation, but the crowd. And ultimately, I think Mexico will advance. So I'll take Mexico to advance in this one.
I'll tell you what, those Ecuadorians have plenty of elevation of their own in their home nation. But Jesse, I understand the thoughts there. If you just look at these two teams as well, just as how they've stacked up over the last few seasons, 2024, 0-0 draw, Mexico versus Ecuador in 2025, 1-1. So they've been tight affairs. And I think Jesse and I both can see that happening. Jesse, I do have to hit you, though. Here, Ecuador, let's do it. Let's give away a free 3-day flex pass. Andy, I'm pulling one out of your book. We'll even give Jesse Mexico to advance, the favorite. I'll take Ecuador to advance. Care to make things interesting, Jesse?
Oh,
Wow.
The answer, I'm doing it. It's the love I have for the nation. Comment below and let us know. I mean, this should be the biggest slam dunk one. We should see 1 million comments backing the one that they call Lionel Jesse. If you think Mexico is advancing, comment below. Include your WagerTalk username. If Mexico moves on, you will be entered in to win a free 3-day flex pass. If the underdog in Ecuador moves on with me, Dan, and your WagerTalk username, and if you cash, you'll be entered on in to win a free 3-day flex pass. If you pick Ecuador, you have a better chance of winning simply because it'll be probably one comment. So Jesse, best of luck. We're making things interesting here, brother. I love it.
yeah. Thank you very much.
Jesse, real quick, let's talk a little bit. I'm going head to head with a man who has just been absolutely cashing. I mean, picked up 16 units here in the World Cup, 75%, 21-7-2. That ROI through the roof. If a financial advisor came and told you, hey, in a couple weeks I can get you a 25% ROI, you would line up hand and fist to back him. So Jesse, what do you got rocking tonight? I know you mentioned 4 plays. Correct me if I'm wrong. You threw them together in a package for folks with an insane price point.
That's right. $39 will get you all 4 matches that will be played in the next 24 hours. Of course, that includes tomorrow's early match with DR Congo and England. And regarding this record in this World Cup, the thing that I'm most proud of, Dan, is the fact that this is simply a carbon copy of what I did 4 years ago in Qatar. I hit 71% in that World Cup. So this is just what is expected at this point. I actually was 100% perfect in the knockout round of the last World Cup. So let's hope to carry that over. 9-0 now since 2022 in Qatar in the knockout stages.
Amazing, man. Keep that run going, and a little head-to-head action, folks. Don't forget, comment below. Jesse, if you think Mexico is going to advance, comment below. Dan, if you think Ecuador is going to advance, include your WagerTalk username. Jesse, best of luck, my brother. Can't wait to talk to you next week, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, just cashing. Hand over. I had to do it, Andy. I had to do it.
That's good. God, we're going to have a lot of 3-day passes because we got Dinger Tuesday coming up at the end. So,
I forgot.
Yeah, we got Dinger Tuesday. Yeah. So, Dan, breaking news. I can't believe they may try this, but LeBron has informed the Lakers he's done. I think they're going for the full Expendables lineup in Golden State. It all matches up. Draymond declined his player option. LeBron's out at the Lakers. I think they're going to try and bring LeBron, AD, and run a Steph, Draymond, Anthony Davis, LeBron, Jimmy Butler, who knows when he gets back. But I think they're going to – I didn't think it was going to be possible. I think they're going to make a run at it. That is just
Golden State Walkers. They have become the Golden State Walkers. We'll make a new AI-generated logo for that. Tennis
the
balls
Golden Girls.
Yeah, the Golden Girls. That's a good one. The Golden with B. Arthur as the head coach there. Yeah.
Listen, I got to tell you, if the NBA, the topic of ratings in the NBA is like, well, the ratings have been going down on TV, but social media clicks are through the roof. And boy, you want to solve a ratings problem, make that team. Every game will be on national TV, and that will make storylines for the entire NBA season. That will be pretty crazy. So, other news. What did I see? Oh, I was going to run this idea by you. But me and my buddy were talking about penalty kicks. It's exciting, but it is a little hokey. Like a guy goes up and kicks a ball into a goal, like standing still, and that's going to decide the World Cup. So I've had this idea for years. So I think at the end of 90 minutes plus stoppage time, if we don't have a winner, I don't like the extra stoppage time. I don't like the extra time. I don't like the extra 30 minutes. If we don't have a winner there, we should do something here. What do you think about 3-on-2? You have 60 seconds to score instead of penalty kicks. So 3 offense, 2 defense, 60 seconds. If you get a goal, that counts as 1. If not, it's 0. It's not as hokey as the penalty kicks. There's still some skill involved. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I'm trying to come up with options here.
See,
if people don't like the penalty kicks.
I don't hate the 3-on-2. It's still kind of like, feels like soccer, feels like fast break. It's basically something that you would practice in a practice situation, right? I think Eric makes a good point. You watch these guys in stoppage time, they're absolutely gassed, man. Or in extra time. I think he was trying to break down there. PK is the best part. So here's my thought, Andy, is that I actually am on the side. I know a lot of people talk about this in the NHL as well. Like, why, the shootouts to decide games is ridiculous. And like, I somewhat agree with that. As far as soccer is concerned, I don't hate the penalty kicks because it's something that naturally occurs in the game. You know what I mean? Like a penalty kick can happen in a game. You know what I mean? So it's not something like in the NHL, you're just making up that there's these breakaways, right? Like a penalty kick is something that is a part of soccer. So that's actually why I'm in the camp of, I don't hate that. I think that's one of the better ways to decide games, but I don't hate a 3-on-2. Anything exciting with scoring, I'm in on it. But tell me your heart wasn't pounding, even though we didn't have a play on that Germany and Paraguay game. That's electric.
Dude, it's when Ta sent the ball a mile over the goal. I was like, good. It looked like high school, man.
Yeah. That was probably the last time he took a penalty kick was high school.
Jesse is so right on that. How these teams don't have specialists that know how to do penalty kicks better than everybody. We figured this out in high school. We literally had penalty kick specialists. Like they would take 5 guys off to the side, and these 5 guys would just we practiced them, and it was like, you 5 guys are the best. So at the end of each practice, you guys go over there. Like, this is a no-brainer. It baffles me that these teams haven't worked on this. It just it happens all the time. You go to penalty kicks, and how these guys are not prepared is beyond me.
And Andy, I think that was partially the reason why I wasn't bullish. I mean, everyone, Germany's a sleeper, get them in now. And for me, I think the fact that they weren't prepared for penalties is, in this game specifically against Paraguay, that was a making of their own hubris. You know what I mean? They thought that they were going to absolutely be the team who doesn't have to go to penalties. We have so much more speed. We have so much more athleticism. That's all good and well until you start playing at heat, until those miles start racking up on you. So I'm not surprised at all that Germany, this is also the first time that this German team loses a shootout, right? So that was my whole thing, was this is no longer your grandfather's and your father's Germany team. And it played out exactly like that, Andy. Your grandfather's and your dad's Germany team, they don't lose in shootouts. This incarnation, this hubris of that team, they do lose in a shootout. And that's how it played out.
Oh, it's wild. It's exciting. I will say that. You no matter what you're doing, when penalty kicks come on, you're stopping what you're doing and you're watching. You're not. I'm doing work, but as soon as penalty kicks come on, I'm like, well, I can't do any more work. Got to watch this. So
also, when you looked at just the size of that Paraguayan goalie, you were just like, this guy was made for PKs. He was like the Wembanyama of goalies. Yes. It was insane. He was huge.
So, well, I mean, we got a game here in 35 minutes. It's our $5 Tuesday place. We want to get that. We get some afternoon action. We got to bring in Ross the boss. We got to break down a couple of MLB games. Ross, you a World Cup guy?
Yes, I am. As a matter of fact, I got a 4% top play winner. I have the way to bet this Mexico and Ecuador game tonight. I'm very confident coming off that win with Canada, that nail-biting win the other day. I played college soccer right through college. I played soccer, and I've been following this. I haven't missed much of this World Cup. I've really been enjoying it. Let me, if you allow me, Andy, if I can make a couple points here. First of all, with your idea of 3-on-2 and Dan's idea of how to go about this overtime. If you know anything about FIFA, their governing body is about as hard-headed as they come, and us as Americans want to see ways to make the game more exciting, right? And that's why you guys come up with ideas. But we got to keep in mind the rest of the world. This is the most popular sport, and they're creatures of habit. And good luck with them trying to change anything when it comes to the overtime format or games decided by penalty kicks. I don't think you're going to see that anytime soon. The other thing is Paraguay, their win yesterday against Germany. Congratulations to them. But let me just say this. If the United States played the style of play that Paraguay plays, which is just put 8 guys back and play a low block and very seldom attack unless it's a very good counter situation, the game would never grow in the United States if they played like Paraguay. Now, I understand they had to do what they had to do to win that game, and they didn't want to get into a shootout with Germany, meaning going back and forth. But boy, oh boy, I was disappointed by I just can't stand watching these teams. That's all they do. Australia's another one. They sit back and they do virtually nothing, and they put 8 guys in the box and just defend and hope for a counter attack on occasion. And the last thing, Netherlands got nobody to blame but themselves, guys. I mean, this is a team whose identity is attack, and scoring world-class goals and their creativity offensively. And yesterday, for whatever reason, they were so scared of Morocco, they went into a shell themselves. And they have nobody to blame but themselves. I put the blame on the coach in that regard. So thank you for letting me express some of my ideas with or some of my thoughts on the World Cup.
No, you're right. It's a pipe dream to change the overtime rules. It's like never happen. It's like
it's like all of a sudden Russia starts playing baseball, and some of the people in Russia starts coming up with ideas on how we should change our extra inning format. You know what I mean? It's like, shut the hell up. What do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the game should be 7 innings. Like what?
Yeah. When I say shut the hell up, what do you know? I'm not referring to you guys. It's just us as Americans as a whole. They have no respect for our opinions,
He's referring to Jesse, of course. He's referring to Jesse.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesse's mad the Taliban got eliminated. He's got to bet other countries now.
All right.
Jesse's great, man. He knows his soccer, Jesse. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's go to the diamond here. NYC in the chat wanted to ask about a couple games, and what you're going to break down one of them. And we'll start with the Padres and the Cubs. We've got Sears going for the Padres, Boyd going for the Cubs. This is one of these games where the over-under is 11.5. Cubs come in at -145. How do you see this game?
Yeah, I'm going to look at the side here. Look, JP Sears gets only his second start of the season for the Padres. Last year, Sears made 27 starts, had a 5.04 ERA, 161 WHIP. He was pretty good in his first start this year with 2 earned runs allowed in 5 innings. However, this is a guy that's 19-40 in his career team starts against teams with winning records, and also 9-19 on the road against teams with winning records. That's career team starts, folks. Team starts is not decisions. It's how his team does in games that he starts. Very important, because at the end of the day, we base our wins and losses in the sports betting business on wins and losses, okay? And nobody's going to reward you for a guy getting a win, a losing or winning decision. So we're more about what happens in the entire game. So the Padres bullpen, their last 6, has been struggling a bit at 5.06 ERA and 147 WHIP as a staff. The Padres have also lost 3 in a row. And during this current 3-game losing streak, they've scored just a combined 7 runs. Offense has been a problem for the Padres all year. They had some pretty good players that are vastly underachieving, namely one, Manny Machado, who's hitting 186 going into today. Matthew Boyd, 2-0 at Wrigley Field against San Diego last year with an 0.90 ERA. The Cubs are playing great baseball right now. They've won 3 in a row, 7 of their last 8, and 12 of their last 16. And, you know, here's I don't normally get into betting trends, but if there's a significant sample size in an in-season trend in baseball, I pay attention. And the Cubs are 12-0 at Wrigley Field this year after winning their last 3 games, or 3 games or more in a row. And they've really came up big in those situations. So I'm going to go with the Cubs here. You know, I hate laying these big numbers, but I'm going to make an exception to the rule here. You said minus 145. I saw as high as 155. I wouldn't go any more than 160, folks, but I like the Cubs here on the money line over the Padres.
All right. Any strong opinions on this 11.5 total?
If you put the proverbial gun to my head, the Cubs have been scoring a lot of runs of late during this hot streak. Because the Padres are so anemic offensively, the winds are blowing out today to right field at over 12 miles an hour. There's a reason why this total is this high, and you always have to pay attention to wind conditions at Wrigley Field. I don't have a strong opinion, but like I said, if you put the proverbial gun to my head, I guess I would have a small lean toward the over, but it's not going to get my money.
Okay. All right, we got to lean to the over there, but looking at the Cubs, and we'll go to the Dodgers and the Athletics. Ross, I got to tell you, I'm in trouble if Robleski pitches against Schlittler with pronouncing these two guys' names. They trip me up, but we do have Robleski versus the Dodgers.
Yes, try saying Schlittler 3 times in a row. Real quickly. Go ahead, Dan. Dan doesn't want to.
Dan's good. Dan's producing. What you got for this game, Ross?
I didn't know if all of a sudden he wasn't brave enough. Anyway, go ahead.
Now, Ross, we want to get your thoughts on this game. Here's another one with an 11 total. Dodgers, big favorites. No surprise, money's coming in on the Dodgers throughout the morning.
Yeah, and it looks to be a pitching mismatch because Robleski has been very good this year. ERA of under 3. It's going up against Jeffrey Springs, a pair of left-handers going at it tonight. Total 11, and it's 11 for a good reason. When you see these totals that high, folks, it's for good reason, and you can't be afraid to go over a total of 11 if everything makes sense. So Robleski, by the way, has not pitched in that ballpark in Las Vegas, and I believe that's where they're playing tonight. In any event, wherever they play, Sacramento or Las Vegas, Sacramento they're playing tonight, I'm sorry. Those are hitter-friendly ballparks, and Robleski will be up against a A's team that's hit 60 home runs this year at home, 66 home runs, at home this year between those two hitter-friendly ballparks. And then you got Jeffrey Springs over his last 5 starts, a 9.97 ERA, a 1.75 WHIP, and 10 home runs in 21 2/3 innings pitched during those 5 outings. And he's about to face one of the best power hitting teams in Major League Baseball. The LA Dodgers have hit 60 home runs in 45 away games this year. I think this ballpark in Las Vegas, I keep wanting to say Las Vegas, in Sacramento is tailor-made for their, especially for their power. And the Dodgers over their last 6 games, 7.5 runs per game scored, 323 team batting average, 390 on base percentage, and hit 9 home runs over those last 6 games. Now, the weak link for the Dodgers, and it's been all year, is their bullpen. They've been very erratic, the bullpen. Over their last 6 games, a 158 whip, which is not very good. So they could be exposed. And if they can get to Robleski just even a little bit and get his pitch count up, it'll be very favorable for the A's in that situation. And the A's bullpen, by the way, at home, 6.53 ERA, 164 whip, 36 home runs allowed by A's relievers in 42 home games this year. And guess what, Andy? Talk about winds blowing out. They're blowing out at 12 miles an hour, too, to left field tonight in Sacramento. 4 meetings since the start of last year, all 4 games going over the total with an average of over 12 runs scored per game. I'm going to go LA Dodgers and the A's over the total of 11.
All right, Ross, you mentioned you had a 4% soccer best bet that is up. It's a $5 Tuesday. What do you have up for everybody?
Yeah, that's what I got up right now. And I'm going to have an MLB $5 play up very shortly as well. It won't be a 4% best bet like I have in the Ecuador-Mexico game, but nonetheless, my Major League Baseball up over 54 units since over the last 13 months. And speaking about over the last 13 months, over 177 units in net profit since May 12th of last year. Number one, according to WagerTalk Media, in terms of units earned over the last 365 days. Folks, don't forget about, I know it's a steep price, $14.59 for a lot of you, but if you're betting every day and you want to grind it out with me and make money over the long haul, I just gave you the numbers. You invest with me. When you invest with that $14.59 for 365 days, you're talking about $4.20 per day on average. So be sure to exercise that option. And also college football. If Dan could put up that graphic, if you would be so kind. College football over the last 3 years, up over 155 units in net profit, 182 and 120, 60.3%. Last year, coming off a college football season, terrific. Last year, 53 and 31 in college football last season. And that was good for plus 75.99 units. So I know how to get it done in college football. And right now, folks, our early bird special is normally $5.99. Mine right now is only $4.99. It'll take you right through the national championship game. And it's only good to July the 4th, which I believe is Saturday. So take advantage of this, folks. We're going to reward you for making an early commitment on this college football annual package. So take advantage of that while you could. And then the NFL, I finished 32 and 21 on a 32 and 21 run last year, 60%. In the NFL, you can get college football and the NFL combined from yours truly for just $777. It'll take you right through the national championship game and the Super Bowl. Sorry for taking so much time, Andy, and getting so long-winded, but I had a lot to talk about.
No problem, Ross. You're welcome anytime. You do a great job when you go impromptu. Like, that's a skill not a lot of people have. So when you come on and I say, hey, you a soccer guy? And you naturally can go into a thing. It's always appreciated. It's a sign of a pro. So
I appreciate you guys giving me the time to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Ross, the boss, Benjamin, college football right around the corner. And you can get his early bird special over at WagerTalk.com. Thanks for joining us, Ross. Good luck today.
Thanks again, boys.
That's the luck cash at 5%er, man. Love that.
Yeah. NYC in the chat asked about thoughts on the over-under for the Pirates, Phillies, and the Brewers, Reds. So there's 3 games that you mentioned, Dan, with the 11.5. Ross gave you a little lean on Padres, Cubs over. I would lean that one over. I'll go under in Reds Brewers. The reason is Lauder hasn't been great. He's not been tragically bad like some of these guys. He's not been good, but he hasn't been tragic. And Sprout has had a couple of good, 2 out of his last 3 starts have been pretty good. At Cincy, went 6 innings, only allowed 1 hit. So I'm going to lean the under on that one. But the tough one here is this Pirates offense. For the year, they're averaging 5.1 runs per game, but recently they're over 9. Your boy Sanchez, this guy was lights out. You couldn't score a run on him if you had 18 innings against him. But boy, this month has not been kind to Sanchez. 30.2 innings, 13 earned runs. That's just like terrible for him. I got to lean the over. This Pirates offense, when you find an offense that just clicks like this, Chandler's going for Pittsburgh. He's not very good, 4.42 ERA. I got to lean the over in this one. So those 3 games at 11.5, I'll take 2 of them over and 1 under. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the Phillies are concerned, I'm right there with you. You know, Sanchez, not only has he come back down to earth, he's like come crashing down resoundingly to earth. However, that big stretch that he has, I think it was 50 and 2/3 innings where he had that scoreless stretch. One of those was a 6-hit shutout against this Pirates lineup. Again, it was back in May. It was when he was in really good form, but he struck out 13 in that one. The Phillies hope of not having a loss like they did yesterday, an 11-7 loss, is Sanchez has to come back into form. Now, if that happens, this does feel a little bit too high. But like you said, like this Pirates lineup is just absolutely raking. So, yeah, tough one there for me. It does feel a tick high simply because Sanchez is on the mound. But I think a lot of folks see that name Sanchez and they think of that streak that he had. He hasn't been that over this last about, almost a month. So definitely pause for concern there, or a reason for concern, Andy.
I'll go through a quick little Yanni-esque version of Steam Report. Just take a look at some of these opening lines and where the money's going. A little bit of money on Baltimore. A little bit of money on Baltimore. A lot of money on your Phillies, Dan. They're up to -225. -225.
I feel like you have to take the Pirates at this point. That's an insane price.
Just on sheer principle. Biggest move by far is Texas went from an underdog. Now they're a -120 favorite. That's DeGrom versus Bybee. Pretty big movement on Detroit. Scooble's going today. That's the Scooble versus Schlittler. So definitely a lot of money coming in on the Detroit Tigers. And there was one other game, Milwaukee. Money is coming in on Milwaukee. They're creeping up to -180, and a little bit of money on the Cubs. And of course, it goes without saying, money is coming in on the Dodgers. So those are some of the biggest moves. Wimbledon, we mentioned earlier, big upset. I'll give you a parlay piece if it hasn't started yet. Oh, it just started. Never mind. Yeah, never mind.
You can live bet it still.
Live. Yeah, Berrettini, -1.5. Sets. He's playing Wawrinka. Wawrinka's 41. He announced he's retiring at the end of the year. He just doesn't have the stamina and the physical ability he used to have. So I like Berrettini to pull away late. So -1.5 on the sets there. And then Serena is playing today. She is last time I checked, plus money. Let's see. Let me pull up and see where. Yeah, there she's plus 102. She's playing Maya Joint. Now, Serena has not played since 2022. Dan, her opponent is on an 0-10 run.
Oh, they're throwing out an ice fighter for her to face against. It feels like, Andy.
I'm just not laying a -130 on Maya Joint. I'm just not. It just I don't care that she's playing a 40-plus-year-old Serena Williams. Yeah, 0-10.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. That's hard to lose 10 in a row. So I agree with Seth in the chat that, like, if you're playing that, it's just wow. Jan, you're saying my Joint 3-15, and I love her. Joint is the side for sure. Oh man,
wow.
Jan and I are having a little contest going head to head on this one. I'd say value is on Serena at this point. So if Serena wins, just know there will be a massive, massive bet against Serena.
And against in the next match. Yeah.
Yes. So, Jan, this will be fun to monitor back and forth. If you love I can't say I love Serena. I just can't back somebody that's 0-10 and 3-15. So, all right. Flash special for us guys. We do. This one expires at Tuesday. Johnny sent me this last night. You want the rest of the plays for the rest of the year? It's $9.99. It's an instant discount. We get you locked and loaded for the rest of the World Cup going into the fall with NHL, NBA, of course, college football, NFL, all the sports that we cover. Dan's lacrosse props. So this is just a flash special, good for today only. Use the promo code Andy1000. Get you for $2.74 a day. And with the amount of sports that we cover, it really is a smoking deal. So if you've been thinking about getting long-term with us, this is the best special that we've run in a while for this one. So expires at midnight, promo code Andy1000. It gets you my plays, Dan's plays, Jim's plays, Jan's plays. So lock this thing in. Let's build up the bankrolls for the summer, and then let's kick ass in the fall and the winter.
Well, and Andy, one thing that I will say, if you've ridden on us, you've done any, cross sport packages, and we've been able to cash for you. We went back and forth with the office and got the lowest possible price point that we can get for a year all access. So if you've toyed with the idea of hopping in for a year, it's something we really like our chances. You buy a pick for a day. Okay. You buy a pick for 3 days. Okay. You buy a pick for a week. Okay. Like the longer you go out, I like our chances of turning a profit for you. Lowest possible point, $274 a day that gets you multiple plays across different sports. And if you have the blue book, you have the green book, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be able to bet the exact same bet that we're putting in. So great price here, $274 a day. You can literally not get any better, and it's going away, folks. WT.buzz/AL. Hop with us for a year. Ride alongside us. We're here with you every single day. So the accountability's there. Let's ride together. WT.buzz/AL. Terrific deal that quite literally does not get any lower, Andy.
Yeah. Daniel, this expires at midnight. So it expires tonight. It's just a quick one day promo. So, all right. Here we go. It's time for Dinger Tuesday. Dan, if you guys are joining us for the first time, there is a sports book that runs a special called Dinger Tuesday. It's a 50% profit boost. What they don't tell you is you're only allowed to bet $10 on it. So every Tuesday, Dan and I try and pick someone to hit a home run, and you can win a 3-day pass if you put in the comment section after the show is over. After the show is over, comment section, you got to put your WagerTalk name and who you think is going to hit a dinger. And if you guys could do me a favor and put the team that they're on, I know most of them, but sometimes you guys have put some people out there. I have no idea what teams. Like, who is this guy? So, but let's give out some dingers here, Dan. I'm ready.
Let's do it.
All right. Dan was so excited for Dinger Tuesday. He turned his camera
My camera
off.
just completely shut off, Andy.
You know why? Dan was showing us his dinger, and the camera.
I know it's
indecent,
indecent exposure of the dinger, Andy. I don't know what.
Well, I will go
as long
first.
as you can hear me. You can go first.
I'll go first. Okay, I'm going to go counterintuitive here because I've not picked a dinger correctly the last few weeks, so I'm going to go in a different direction, and I'm going to pick the same game that was the play of the day. I'm going to take Hunter Goodman for the Rockies at plus 330 to hit a dinger. So he is plus 330 after the profit boost. He's a catcher. He bats third. He already has 26 home runs this season. They're in Colorado. We expect a lot of runs. Yuri Perez, although he's been good the last 3 starts, he does give up home runs. Like, he gave up 3 hits last game, but one of them was a home run. He's given up 12 this season. He faced Colorado earlier this season at home and gave up 2 home runs. And one of them was to Hunter Goodman. So yesterday's Marlins at Rockies game featured 17 runs and 3 home runs. Goodman hit one yesterday. I think he's going to come back and hit another one today, but I expect the Marlins to really lay it on. It was 10-7 yesterday. I'll go with a 9-4 type of finish here with the Marlins getting the run line, but I think Goodman goes yard against Yuri Perez. So that is my dinger. We will see if Dan is Dan. Are you here? All right, we may have lost Dan here. So I will. Let me see if there's Jan. Are there any other tennis plays that we like? Because Dan still hasn't given out his dinger. Maybe he can send it to me in Slack and I can talk about it. Otherwise, we'll just have to cut the show here. All right, Dan, just put your home run dinger in the comment section after. So everybody else, it's $5 Tuesday. We got a play that starts in 10 minutes. We also got tennis and auto racing plays for $5. But if you're looking for long term, we got that year pass. $999. It does not get better than that. It's over at WT.buzz/AL. And you got 2 jobs today in the comment section here, guys. Whether you like Dan's pick in Ecuador, Mexico, or Jesse's pick in Mexico, Ecuador. And then also give us your home run prop, but you have to put your WagerTalk username Otherwise, you're not eligible. So, all right, that's going to do it for us, guys. Great show. Thanks to Ross. Thanks to Jesse making Dinger Tuesday. Always one of the best shows of the week. We'll be back same time tomorrow to get you to keep covering the World Cup and all the MLB. And I believe we've got big WNBA slate the later the week goes. So thanks for joining us. Good luck on all your bets. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Take care.